So we're literally on the third day since the election took place. And what's so crazy is so many things are happening that by the time you watch this, there's probably other things that's already taken place. It shows how fast Donald Trump is moving. Today we're going to be discussing some of the major plans he's already put in place, some of the things that he's already done and implemented just after being the president-elect. We're going to go through those. Some of those deal with world leaders, some of those deal with peace agreements, some of those countries are almost at our beck and call to say we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure we're at good graces with you. It's pretty crazy. Then we're going to talk about something that's kind of startling for America. We need to pay attention to this because if we want to fix America, we actually got to start fixing our homes first. Some pretty dangerous things that we're going to be talking about there. And then lastly, we're going to talk about these liberal states. These states that are even going further left after Trump won. One thing I love is that the Democrats think that they need to be more further left to actually bring more people to their party. This could benefit Trump and the Republicans tremendously. We're going to talk about what Chicago, California just implemented and what they're doing. They're starting to issue states of emergency, but it's not for what you think. Let's dive into these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. I know we're inside, a little bad weather outside and a little dark, so it's kind of hard to film. So I'm sorry you've got, a pretty color, don't get me wrong, but it is not the beautiful outdoors that we're typically able to see. Now, if you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up, and help us spread our message across this platform. Today, we're going to jump into some major topics. First, let's talk about some of the risk of our families. Then we're going to talk about what Trump is implementing. And because of what Trump has already done, just literally in 2 to 3 days since the election, and again, by the time you're watching this, in the amount of hours it takes to upload this, it's unbelievable probably what else he's already done. We'll discuss this on an update every day. And then thirdly, we're going to talk about the cities. Now let's jump into the first thing, because this is probably the bad news. If I had bad news today, we tend to have a little bit better news today because I believe we're on a good trajectory. But this is not a good trajectory. And if we want to truly heal America, heal our families, this is something we need to pay attention to. There was a new story that came out and a new study that came out that says, okay, over the last years, what have we seen with our family? Is our family getting stronger? Is it getting more deteriorated? What is the structure and buildup of each family? And this is a story from Zero Hedge. It says how American households have changed over the last 65 years. Now, this is not changing for the better. But let's go over this. It says the composition of American household have shifted significantly since the 60s. Fewer people are having children, and then of that, there are more broken families than we've ever seen. Now, when you think about what happened in the 60s, you really started a movement away from women in home. You started seeing a movement of more social programs. You started seeing a real big movement to get more government in our lives. I don't know if that's just a coincidental thing, but something to think about. And then, of course, the economic problems really started coming at the late part of 60s and then early 70s. But it says today the number of households without kids exceeds those with kids. What that means is we're not able to replace Americans without bringing in immigrants. Now, that's not because we need more immigrants. What I'm saying is no one is actually trying to benefit families to have children anymore. It's getting too tough. We're too selfish as a people, and then also we're wanting our wants, and we're not willing to be selfless to have children, to grow children, to rear children, and we think it costs too much. That's honestly what this report says. All right, so let's start with the numbers, and we're going to go from 60 to basically 2023, 2024. Married with no kids. Not much change. The people, it actually was around 29 to 30%. It's still the same. So you're like, okay, not much has changed with people having a little bit more of a selfish outlook to say, look, we just don't want kids. Single with no kids. People are not finding reasons to be married, to have children. And that's where you come into, I think, what they said a lot of times with virtual reality, with gaming, with selfishness, with the fact of doing what people want to do and only for their self. It's self-pleasure, self-intoxicating. It makes us almost be very narcissistic. And I hate to say that, but this is the truth of what the study is showing. That number back in 1960 was 13%. That number now is 29%. It has went up more than double. It says a record number of 58.4% of American households now consist of a married or single adult without children. So of the married with no kids, single with no kids, you're over half the population is seeing no value in raising children. Now this is another scary trajectory. In 1960, 44.2% of households were married parents raising children. Now you would think it'd be more than that, but it wasn't. But that's almost half the population. You're saying mother, father in home raising children. Here's the scary thing. You know what that number is in 2023 to 2024? 17%. So we have lost the fact of the importance of a nuclear family in raising children from almost half, 44%, to now less than 1/5, which is 17%. We find no value in that. Now here's two more things. Single parents, it went up 3 to 4%, not a lot. But here's another thing that scares me. It says other. And what this means is people find no value in a nuclear family. So if they're wanting to raise children, you're starting to see them raised in homes that are of unmarried folks, of people not caring about it, having more of a roommate status, being not a family. It's just let's all move in together. Now, is that a bad problem? No, but that's went up from 8 to 16%. That's doubled. So of the nuclear family, you have 17.9% of people raising children in a father-mother married home. That's heartbreaking to me. So out of 100%, less than 20%, less than 1/5 of the population sees value in raising children. And not only raising children with a mother and father present. Other than that, over 80% find no value in a nuclear family, find no value in a husband-wife marriage, and then on top of that, 58% of that 80% find no value in having children at all. Pretty startling number, and that actually scares me. I heard there was a comment made yesterday that they believe this time, because people were so excited, conservatives were so excited about this election and the trajectory, that we could almost see another baby boom, kind of like the boomers in the 50s. I really think that that's possible. If we see the world not being at the edge of nuclear war, and we see the economics getting better, it's going to make people more celebratory. And to be honest with you, you may see a growth back in the family structure. So I believe this is something that could turn around easily, but it's going to take conservatives, it's going to take Christians, it's going to take the importance of families, again, to do it. This is a heartbreaking number to me because I was one of 4. Misty and I have 6 children, and we're hoping they have tons of big families because we want to see the growth of our lineage and have legacy. You would think that more people would want that, and sadly, they're not. I'm hoping that we can at least get back to the point of replacing our country, but doing it in a way that honors conservatism, freedom, and a Christian-style living. This is a heartbreaking story, but we can turn it around. Now let's jump on to what Trump is doing. Now to the second point. And again, this is changing literally by the minute. What has Trump done? Just in 2.5 days to the third day today, listen to this. Trump has spoken to over 70 leaders by last night. By last night, he has spoken to 70 leaders of the world. Of that, listen to this. We're starting to see the dollar climb. The stock market and the 401ks are soaring. Bitcoin is going crazy. Gold is holding its own. The economics are already getting better. Listen to what else. We're starting to see world leaders not only congratulate Trump, but to see value in the strength that he's going to bring for America. Zelensky is already eager to negotiate. Now, he doesn't like the plans that may be coming for him, but he's already said that he's willing to sit down at the table. Putin has already said that he's sincere and he believes that Trump is going to be a good leader for America and he wants to rebuild the relations with America. And he said, I do not want to see the dollar fall. This is from the one who's part of BRICS. So if we could build a better relationship and willing to open up trade again to the world, but in a way that makes America manufacture and America economy get better, then that's how we can win. We don't need trade deficits. We need to make sure we have tariffs and negotiations. Well, you hear both sides of this Russia-Ukraine situation already saying they're willing to negotiate and they want to see the dollar stay strong. That is strength. And listen to this. Hamas has already came out and said they're wanting peace. They want peace because they know that Trump has a good relationship with Netanyahu. They're already saying they'd rather get to a peace negotiation and solve this problem in the Middle East. You know, we're not even going to talk about the Abraham Accords, that if they would have went to fruition and they would have kept on going, we'd have had better peace and Iran would have been broke if Trump would have won 4 years ago. And we're not going to talk about that today, but it could easily happen. But now you have Zelensky saying that he's ready for peace to sit at the table. Hamas is saying they're ready for peace to sit at the table. Russia is wanting to work alongside us to build back relations with us. China has come out. Listen to what he said. He said Chinese President Xi says that he wants to strengthen the relations with the U.S. and he believes Trump will be the one to help him do that. Again, two BRICS countries that sees the dollar climbing in value since Trump has been elected. And both of them are saying we're willing to sit at the table and let's negotiate some trade, but let's negotiate better relations. If we can calm the rhetoric down and not have a world war, that's good for all people, including Americans, and mostly for Americans, because you have someone who is wanting to put America first. That's huge. Javier Milei coming next week to see Trump. Viktor Orban, Hungary, big supporter of Trump, but also a big player in the EU, coming to promote and see Trump. Macron came out today and he said, look, Trump is not going to benefit the EU. He wants to benefit America. Well, duh. That's what it's supposed to be. He is the leader of America. But I love what Macron said, because I think he's starting to flip and wake up. He said, maybe us as EU countries should start looking out for EU countries and not everyone else in the world. Well, duh, because you were elected to be the French leader. I mean, Germany's going through crazy situations right now. Just think, if they would have just put their countries first instead of the world global movement first, they wouldn't be sitting in the situation they're sitting in now. This is what Trump is doing. He's already making things happen. And again, this is not to say he's some massive, amazing creature and he's going to save the whole world from problems. We're going to have hiccups. But you're already seeing people see a strengthened America. When America is strong, the world tends to be at peace. They tend to be better. They tend to look at economics and how we can all grow our economies and make our people's life better. This is huge. Very good news. This is what he's already done. He's already appointed a chief of staff. The good thing about her, she doesn't like the limelight. She doesn't even like to speak on the mic. And she is a diehard Trump fan that's been with him for a long time. Help him win his election. And the thing is, if you don't know a lot about her, that might benefit it, because guess what? That means she's not a career politician that's been in the limelight playing both sides. She is a Trump supporter first, and I think that is a huge move. He's already made great moves with agriculture, with RFK. I'm anxious to see what else he does just today. Every day is pretty unique because you're starting to see things come to fruition. And do I believe this is all going to be cupcakes and rainbows and unicorns jumping over this rainbow and there's going to be a pot of gold? I don't. I believe it's coming a little too easy. And I'm scared that lawfare is supposed to kick in. I'm scared that the Democrats are not going to take this line down. But right now, we're looking pretty strong, and we need to be aggressive, keep praying through it, and keep growing at this potential. This is huge for America. Now, let's jump to these crazy states. The Democrats are wanting to pull more left. Colorado was the only state that tended to pull more left than what any other state did, even California. If you look at the map of California, it became a lot more red. It's just the cities kept it blue, of course. But let's talk about what California and Illinois are doing. If they keep pulling left and keep trying to be more left, they're going to keep running their people out. New York mayor said he's fisting to stop. New York City mayor is fisting to stop giving free food and free meals and free things out to immigrants. The tide is turning. Now let's talk about these two other states that has not learned their lesson. All right, California, Illinois. California, Newsom declares a state of emergency on California values. That's amazing how they call it California values. It's actually lack of values. It's like an oxymoronic statement that California has values. You're starting to see them wanting to now, they're wanting to strengthen their immoral ways. So they're saying everything that they've stood against, all the liberal leftist push that's made California basically a hellhole, they're wanting to now make it stronger as a place of just complete debauchery. Listen to this. Governor Newsom has called for a special session. He is bringing people in. So basically your taxpayers are going to be paying more for the special session to protect California quote-unquote values. Isn't it funny? Claiming that under the incoming Trump administration, freedom we hold dear in California will be under attack. We will not sit idle. Newsom's plan? Lawfare. He wants to bring lawfare. Bolster the state's legal defense to keep moving forward, pouring resources into the DOJ to embrace the yet unknown federal policies. They want to defend all the things that they have, all the rights that they have for their illegal immigrants. All it is a farce. It's trying to make you believe that they're trying to strengthen and help values of people and their freedoms that they have. Actually, what it's doing is taking their rights away. So all those policies that he set for green agendas that basically takes your rights away from owning certain cars and automobiles in the next few years, all those rights that he's talked about, very long-term abortions that are allowed to happen, all the things that they're giving illegal immigrants, the homeless problems, all that he wants to set in stone and tighten up and make more lawfare so the Trump administration cannot clean up California. Not only that, Illinois is doing the same thing. So now you have two governors who are paying more taxpayer dollars to help make sure that the illegal immigrants stay strong there, that all the policies and the immoral living that they already have provided that people are moving away from, they want more of it. So they're pulling more left. They're trying to become like Colorado did. Colorado was the only state in the nation that pulled more left in this election than any other place. Now, that's not something I'd brag about, but that's exactly what happened in Illinois, and now California are trying to do the same thing. Pritzker came out for Illinois and said the same thing. You're not coming for my people. Now, he's willing to say, I'm going to defend people, and he was talking about the illegal immigrants. He was saying, I'm going to defend these people, and I'm going to keep them here at the taxpayer's burden and cost. No matter what, we're going to keep them in Illinois. So, Illinois, California, is this really what you want as a populist? So, why do these states want to do this? Actually, here's my goal. I hope that the conservatives, the Christians, and the libertarians, the freedom-minded individuals, the Republicans, not the rhinos, but the Republicans, push forward and keep making great policy decisions and unity and legacy decisions that benefit America and making America strong. I actually hope the leftists and liberals keep pulling to the left even more, because it's going to make them out of touch, like a true West Coast or East Coast elite, to where they're not going to represent anyone but the people in those areas. What's so crazy, and other than like Massachusetts, there was not one state in the Union that actually went left, meaning there was not one full state that actually represented the leftist views. It was the cities, of course, and the states, the heavy population systems. California's new map was more red than it was blue this time. The first time ever in the last, I think, 20 or 30 years that it was this much red in most counties. However, the biggest cities, San Francisco, Los Angeles, all the ones on the West Coast, made the decisions for the whole city, made the decisions for the whole state. That's something that's going to have to be dealt with at one point in time, I know. But until you get better leaders that represent American people, it's not going to happen. There's a new story from Zero Hedge that said that the solar and the wind, that all these states in the EU, even America, these states that are pushing these leftist agendas, these green agendas, they said it will never be strong enough to float the grid of the states or the EU. That's why you're seeing the problems and pandemonium in Germany right now. That's why California has brownouts and blackouts, because the amount of money they're spending on solar and wind will never supersede the value of what the grid needs, and it will always cause problems. Those pipe dreams, how they're wanting quote-unquote green initiatives. Green initiatives mean you put cows back, you put green grass back, and you start learning how to raise animals and make sure you don't mess the water flow up like they did in California. Instead, they want to rip all that up and put these big solar farms there and these big wind farms, and actually it's not enough to generate power for the amount of people that's in California. Your leadership is killing these states, and I think that's what makes Trump even look stronger. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Great things are happening. I don't want to get the cart before the horse. I don't want to ever think that it's going to be cupcakes and rainbows, because there's some establishment rhinos that's trying to get their way and vie their way into the system and to Trump's administration, which I hope Trump is strong and kind of stays away from them. And there's also going to be lawfare. You hear it from these big governors. You hear it from Letitia James. You hear it from all these people. It's time to stay strong, keep pushing forward, and also pray. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.